This is Senator Chris Murphy, and I'm proud to represent the state of Connecticut in the United States Senate. Each year I take a week and I walk 100 miles across my state from one end to the other. I talk to everybody that I can find, folks walking their dog, filling up their gas tank. I talk to them about what matters to them, what worries them, and what Congress should be doing to help. Every single year that I've done this walk, health care is the dominant issue that people raise with me. A few years ago, I remember a young woman tracked my route on social media and she staked out a spot on the side of the road, waiting over an hour to talk to me about her life-altering lupus diagnosis. She told me that without the protections for people with pre-existing conditions in the Affordable Care Act, she would be bankrupt. She didn't understand why President Trump and Republicans were so hell-bent on taking her insurance away. She was furious that Trump and Republicans wanted to put insurance companies back in charge of our healthcare system. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because 2 years later, President Trump hasn't stopped trying to end healthcare for tens of millions of Americans, and in particular, end the protections for the 130 million Americans with some sort of pre-existing condition, over 500,000 of them in my home state of Connecticut. The summer that young woman waited for hours to talk to me, Republicans were in the middle of trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act in Congress. They failed because people like you stood up and said that Washington shouldn't play politics with such life and death stakes. But now Trump and his Republican allies are trying other ways to destroy your health care, and you need to know what they're up to so that you can help us stop it. The latest assault on people with pre-existing conditions comes through an effort by the Trump administration to encourage states to sell junk insurance plans that don't cover basic medical needs like prescription drugs, emergency room visits, and maternity care. These plans might sound good in theory if you're healthy and you want bare bones cheap coverage, but they don't cover much if you actually get diagnosed with an illness or you get into an accident. People who purchase these junk plans could be saddled with tens of thousands of dollars of medical bills when they realize that their insurance doesn't even cover a trip to the hospital. The second bigger problem is that when healthy people go onto these junk plans, people with pre-existing conditions get left behind on the plans where insurance is real, where it covers everything you need. And as a result, while costs, they might go down for healthy people, they go through the roof for the sick people, which is the entire problem that we were trying to solve with the Affordable Care Act. Congress has a chance to stop these junk plans from going onto the market. All 47 Democrats in the Senate have signed on to legislation that will cancel the rule being proposed by the Trump administration to make the sale of these plans easier. And we only need a few Republicans to join us in order for it to pass. So far, we haven't found many takers. Republicans seem more interested in backing up their president than standing up for people's health care. But it gets worse. The Trump administration has also gone to court to try to get the Affordable Care Act overturned. Right now, they are supporting a case before the federal appellate court that uses a fringe legal theory to immediately invalidate the entire ACA, the protections for people with pre-existing conditions, the tax credits to help people buy private health care, the expansion of Medicaid, even the requirement that insurers keep your kids on your plan until they're 26. It would be all gone overnight with nothing to replace it if Trump and Republicans win in court. Democrats in Congress are trying to pass legislation that would force the administration to drop the case. But again, you guessed it, we have almost no Republicans that will support us. Listen, there isn't anything political, really, about healthcare. Cancer doesn't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Diabetes doesn't pay attention to your political identity. Healthcare and pre-existing conditions affect everyone. That's why it's so maddening, so heartbreaking to watch President Trump and Republicans play politics with healthcare. Democrats are fighting to protect your healthcare by opposing Trump's junk plans and his dangerous lawsuit. Because to us, there's nothing political about making sure that everybody gets good, affordable health coverage.